I'm going to show you how to make a beautiful finish in half the time using this new product. Stay tuned and enjoy the video. Hey guys, I'm so excited. There is a new product that I've been using and we'll have available on our website in a couple of weeks. It's called the Amazing Quick Coat, and it's amazing. So, unlike the regular Quick Coat, this Quick Coat has UV protection, which opens up all kind of new things that we can do with it. So, like the regular Quick Coat, this has a very, very short open time, about 20 minutes. So, I'm not going to recommend it for beginners who are just now starting to work with epoxy. But if you've practiced and you've got the basics down, this is a really cool product because what you can do is create projects quicker. You can actually flood this with our art coat in as little as 4 to 6 hours depending on your temperature. And you can create small projects. I would not take this product and try to do a full kitchen, especially if you're by yourself because of the short open time. But for vanities and small projects, this is a game changer. All right, so let's get started. This is what I've done so far. This is a 2x4 piece of MDF. We've rounded over our edges and we painted it gray. And then what I did is I came in and I fogged my edges with white. Now the reason I did that is because the finish that we're gonna do, I want the gray to kind of peekaboo up through the white epoxy that we're gonna be using, but I don't want that gray to ghost through on my edges because we know that as epoxy flows over, some of the thinnest area is going to be the edge. And if it's gray, that gray line may ghost up through the epoxy. That's why we fogged it with the white spray paint. Now, this is what I want to show you. The fogging is very soft. You don't have a hard line where the white turns into your gray like I did here. And I did this on purpose because I want you guys to see. This is what I don't want. I don't want a hard line between your white and your gray because what could possibly happen is as our epoxy starts to level out, you'll be able to see that hard line ghost up through our finish. So that's what you don't want. You want to keep it very soft. And then I also fog just a little bit of that white over the surface just to give some depth to our finish. So if you're using the Quick Coat, you want to make sure that whatever finish you're doing is a fairly simple finish. Something that you don't have a lot of additives and a lot of layers because remember, you only have 20 minutes. What I love about working with this is once I create a finish, unlike your regular epoxy, it's going to stay. It's not going to keep moving for 6 to 8 hours like our regular epoxy does. So we kind of already know what our finish is going to look like when we walk away. All right, so let's go mix up the colors. All right, so just like regular epoxy, this is a 1-to-1 ratio, and I like to pour B first. B is a little less viscous, thinner, but even saying that, this formula is still very thick compared to, say, our art coat or our regular Stone Coat Countertop Epoxy. So that's one thing that you'll really notice is how thick it is. So if you're pouring in a little bit cooler environment, it's a really good idea to warm up your jugs prior to pouring. It really does make it easier to mix and you won't entrain as many bubbles. You don't want to heat too much because you'll get what we call a flash cure. All right, 2 minutes. So you want to mix for 2 minutes. And once you've mixed, you'll want to come in here and scrape your edges and then hand stir, because what this is going to do is take all of that material that's on the edge of your bucket that maybe didn't get mixed up thoroughly. It'll take that off the edge and then you can mix it up. Now remember, we're on the clock, guys, so you want to have everything else ready to go before you start mixing. All right, so in this particular finish, most, or I'll say a larger portion, is going to be a clear. Then I'm going to come in with my other colors. That was my white. I'll put white in there. This, I'll do the beach sand. I want white and clear to be the two main cups. And then that's our beige. All right, I give myself some more clear and a little bit more of the white. Now I'm using 4 ounces per square foot as opposed to 3 ounces per square foot. Because this product sets up quicker, it's not going to flow as long and as smoothly out, as fluid, as if I were using the regular art coat or the regular epoxy. So the reason I'm going at 4 ounces is because that's going to give me a little bit more room for error on my surface, and I know I'll have plenty of material. All right, so I put a little bit of diamond dust in my clear. Not a lot, just a little bit of sparkle. You definitely don't have to do that part, but who wouldn't do that? All right, then we have our Lumelite white dye. Now guys, when you do this, you don't want to just put a ton of dye in there. You want to tint it, put enough epoxy, you just want to put enough of that colorant to tint your epoxy to the opaqueness that you want. Too much product, too much of the dye just arbitrarily put in there can really mess with the integrity of your epoxy. All right, so this is our beach sand luster. This is, oh, this is so pretty. This is really going to give the piece a little bit of warmth and won't make it quite so stark white. This is really a pretty color. So you see it next to the white. It's a little creamier than the white. All right, then we're going to come in our taupe stone. And this is a good neutral gray. And guys, these Color Passion colors are absolutely amazing. They mix so smoothly. Oh wow, that's pretty. And then we'll do our beige stone. All right, so we are definitely on the clock. I don't want this epoxy to be sitting in the cup too long because it'll start getting warm. All right, so let's go. All right, we're going to start off with our clear and diamond dust. Lay it out. And then very quickly, I'm going to do a little bit of a skim coat. Not really wanting to go over the whole piece. Just help some of that kind of meld out a little bit. All right, now we're going to just start adding colors. This is our white. I'm just going to kind of put it out. This is our beige sand. And it is definitely starting to get a little warm. Guys, remember, you are on the clock. But also remember, I'm going to be able to flood this in 4 to 6 hours. All right, and I'm going to come in with my taupe stone, and last with my beige stone. All right, now what I really like to do also to give me just a little bit more depth is I like to come in now with a little bit of white spray paint, and I'm going to spray over the top Now I'm going to take my hand and I'm just going to start melding this out. That spray paint is going to react to the epoxy and give me just one more layer of really cool effects. Now, with this technique and with this product, you have to be very mindful of your edges. You need to really push that epoxy over the edge and all the way under, because remember, this epoxy is not going to be flowing like our regular epoxy, so you have to help it. That's another reason I'm using 4 ounces per square foot instead of 3. Now, if you've worked with epoxy, you know you're going to be able to tell right off the bat that this is quite a bit thicker, and it's already starting to set up a little bit, which is actually what I want, because now whatever I create, I know is not going to move quite as much, and I can know kind of what my finish is going to look like when I walk away. Oh my gosh, this is so pretty. Now, the reason I love using the clear, look how the clear, you can see down to that gray substrate. And that's what I wanted, because that's how you create depth and really get that quartzite look. Oh my gosh, this is apps. Look how beautiful and soft that is. I love this finish. Now guys, honestly, I could walk away right here. And one thing about using this quick coat is I have to walk away sometimes and I don't want to, but this is gorgeous. Literally, I could stop right here. This is gorgeous. And I know that it's not gonna move anymore if I walk away. So, but I'm not gonna walk away. Watch. I'm gonna take a little bit of spray paint. In any area that I may think maybe needs a little bit of something, I'm gonna just spray it a little bit. And then I'm gonna come in here with French beige. And I'm gonna do the same thing. And then I'm gonna get my stick, or a Bondo spreader would do the same thing. And I'm just gonna come in here and I'm just gonna create some texture. Now, you don't have to do this over the entire finish. You can just do it over a little bit if you just want certain areas to have a little bit of a extra oomph. But as you can see, when I take that Bondo spreader, I'm taking it and I'm sort of sliding it as I go, and that's what's giving these really cool designs. So I'm taking it and taking that spray paint, kind of sliding it in. There we go. So if you are doing this on a large kitchen, it is imperative that you have somebody help you do this. Watch guys, when I do this, see how I'm sliding it? And then when I pick it up, see how those little strings are following my Bondo spreader? That's how you get those really cool little designs. If I were doing this with regular epoxy, I would have to tell you guys to wait 30 to 45 minutes before you did this technique so that it would stay. Our epoxy has literally been on this table for less than 10 minutes. And I'm already able to do this. Look at that incredible design. Oh my gosh, I love it. I'm gonna hit it with a torch. There's a little places still where I have a little bit of that spray paint. I'm just gonna take a stick Now, and just give it a little bit different look. Softly, I'm using kind of the flat part of the stick, not going straight up and down. I'm kind of flat, and I'm just lightly dragging over the top to blend that little bit of spray paint that was left on the surface. This little area right here. Oh, wow. Okay, wow. I love it. Now, if you come back here, you'll see how the spray paint that was on the surface is reacting. And I like that. I'm not going to hit it with anything else. I'm going to let that just kind of do its thing. And look how this marbling is. And that's just from that spray paint sitting on the surface, and then I melted it just a little bit with the Bondo spreader. All right, so I said I was done, but I'm not. I have a little bit of clear diamond dust left in the cup, and you know, if there's going to be anything left in a cup, I'm going to do something with it. All right, so now I'm going to take it, and it's starting to really get thick. Guys, look how thick it is. My favorite. So now I'm going to come in here and put just some clear veins. And because the epoxy is starting to set up, those veins are not going to move a whole lot. They're going to stay pretty distinct. And I love how they're real stringy, and I have a lot of control over where I put it. I love that. And I also like to come in and just maybe a little area that I think needs a little extra something, just put a little blob and watch how it kind of sinks, and it'll cause almost like a little aggregate right there. Almost like you can see down into the stone. All right. Oh my goodness. Wow. This is killer. So this would be the perfect size of a vanity in a bathroom that would easily be able to be done by just one person. Obviously, I just did it. But if I were going to do a large kitchen, I would definitely have someone handing me the epoxy as they're mixing it, because you don't want to be able to just throw all that color down on a big surface and then go back and then try to manipulate it, because you will run out of time since the open time is very short. All right, like we talked about at the beginning, it is very important that you take your edges and you run your hand up underneath that edge and help that epoxy flow over. And by running your hand up underneath there and kind of pushing that epoxy over the edge and or up underneath the curve, you're going to seal that edge and really get a pretty flow. Another good thing about using this quick coat is I can drag my stick and take those drips away. I'm only going to have to do that for about maybe 45 minutes to an hour, and that piece is going to quit dripping, and then I don't have to sand off my drips. Again, make sure you really push that epoxy up underneath there with your hand. If your epoxy just stops right here on this edge, that is an area where you could have delamination, especially if you come in here and sand and you sand right to that edge, because it's not pushed up underneath that edge for a good seal. That area could be an area that you could have delamination later on. So really make sure you push up underneath that edge. All right, guys, what you think? I love it. Ooh, it's so pretty. I encourage you guys to try the amazing quick coat. I think you're gonna love it. You can create some really cool, quick finishes. If you do tumblers, guys, this is the perfect epoxy for tumblers. dries quick and lets you get those tumblers out the door. Alrighty guys, all these products are going to be available on our website. Check us out. Join our newsletter, RK3designs.com, so that you'll receive special promo codes and class listings and all the fun things that we do here at RK3 Designs. I'd also like to invite you guys to our RK3 Design Insiders group on Facebook. It is really growing. So many people there are posting some amazing finishes and amazing projects, and we invite you to join us. All right, guys, until next week, you know what it is. Don't be scared. Move forward and be creative.